All right, hey there, guys. It's Metro, and it's been a while since we've done one of these. I don't know necessarily feel like I'm super qualified to do this kind of stuff, but yeah, we're gonna look at a run today, and he feels I can help him, so I'm gonna give my best effort. But the main thing here is we're publishing it to the channel so you guys can give your best effort too. So we'll ignore the obvious about the situation, but everything else, feel free to comment on what you think could change and what he can do. So I'm going to read you a little bit about what he says and what the preface here is. He says, I feel like I'm playing well, but we never have enough time to compensate for any mistakes we make. That's why I think one of my problems is that I need to be more aggressive on certain pulls, but I am not confident that I would be able to live through it. I feel like I am squishy and I might die a second after pulling. That's very normal for Blood DK, unfortunately. So we're going to talk a little bit about, before we even start looking at the run, about ways that you could fix that. Because if that is a primary concern for you, I could already tell we have some big problems here. Okay, so he has time of running these keys. I'm pretty sure it's got to be this run because he's got a paladin, but looks like you ran two Freeholds very quick succession. This one goes worse than this one, but both are over time and they're 18. So let's talk about how we can fix that. First things first, you're going to see 35 total corruption, but that has got a couple Twilights and then the rest versatile. So we're going to look at the actual character. And he said this is still exactly what he wore for that. So we actually have 3 ranks of Twilight. So if you're worried about survival, this would be a good place to start. Obviously, it's tough if you don't have what you want from the vendor, but I would just what I run is 1 rank or 2 ranks of Twilight, and that seems like the perfect amount to me. It still procs and does a lot of damage, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of more than that at this point. 3 ranks is kind of you're starting to eat up. I mean, that's 25 corruptions. So that's another 12% versatility you could be having, right? And that I do think, again, this is all my opinion, but I do think that a high amount of versatility is better offense than people think it is, especially if you actually have some Twilight. So that would be the first thing I would change. Other than that, obviously, just get more sockets. You gotta push out the visions. My character has no sockets as well, so I can sympathize. But he does have versatility on every item, which is very good. He does not have any. He doesn't have a lot of verse amp in general, but he has more than I do, I think. For me, I do feel like I have to say that even now, I do feel like that proc is really good. The verse proc one, it's like 40 to 50% uptime in keys, and it's like it can make a huge difference. So, if you're looking to try something new, I would maybe try that. You could even drop Twilight and pick that right up. But for me, because it's of course amplified as well, it can be a huge, like it's like a 20% damage reduction extra if it procs or whatever. So you can try that. That's what I would recommend. Another thing I noticed when I'm looking at this, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Like if provided this is all the right info, because the problem is the talents and stuff. I don't know how accurate it is. Like for example, it says he has Purgatory, but he said he didn't have Purgatory. That's why he was using Touch of the Everlasting Major. So these seem to be the right essences, at least according to him, the ones that he says he's using. So it does seem accurate. But if that's the case, God, my God, is this Azerite slew a joke? Like, I mean, this is pretty ridiculous, honestly. These are some very bizarre traits. And having 2 Eternal Rune Weapon. So I don't know. I quite like the trait Eternal Rune Weapon. I really do like the trait. It's one of my favorite traits in the game, but it's mostly because the rest of the traits kind of really suck. They're not very fun. So I definitely would drop one of these for sure. Having Rune Weapon's already your most powerful CD, so having another allocation of this high amount of strength during it, I don't see a reason to do that. That's unless you're pulling really, really, really big inside that CD, it's just overkill. It's not helping you, and it's probably not doing much offense for you either. But the big thing here is these two are, I mean, am I the only one who thinks these are just dead traits? I don't know, like I'd have to see what people are getting out of 2 stacks of this, but I tested it very limited amount, and I never got any value out of these. Unbelievably low value. So pretty much any trait, but these would probably be better, I feel like. But I'd have to see what the Azerite gear had on it. Uh, so for me, if you're worried about actual survival, Bones of the Damned, I have 3 Bones of the Damned, which isn't what everybody recommends. If you don't raid, do we take a look at the raid? You don't actually raid on this character, which is tough because the raid Azerite is very good. But yeah, if you don't raid on this character, then you're a bit it's a bit tight. I don't know what I would suggest, but yeah, overwhelming power has been really good. Strength in numbers, I never actually tried. I didn't think it was a very good option, but maybe it is. And then of course crit stack. I mean, these are at least okay. The thing about Bulwark of the Masses is you get absolutely well. You get you get zero value out of it on bosses. There's no boss in the game that has 4 targets, right? Maybe 1 or 2, but very, very, very little value out of bosses. So if you're ever concerned with bosses, I would just try to find different Azerite in general, because these are not I think this is holding you back more than you realize, honestly. These traits are really nothing, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I have 3 Bones of the Damned, and I've heard really good things about Bloody Runeblade, but realistically, it's not necessarily going to be the reason you live or you die. So, but anyway, I think we're ready. Let's get on to the key itself. So, oh, one more thing I just want to bring up though. So I don't, I'm not a genius here, but I'm pretty sure these are not good essence combinations. Like, I think a lot of people would say that Strength of the Warden is only like it's a fine essence, but the main reason you want to use this essence is because of the corruption resistance, right? So you have 2 corruption resistance sentences on. They do not stack, right? Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure, 99% sure that they do not stack. So most people would look at one of these essences as mandatory. A lot of people, I think, were running Touch of the Everlasting, but I don't really see a reason to run it now. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you're running these essences. I would definitely dump. I I already leafed through it, and I could tell that there's some problems with threat. So I would definitely dump this and get used to Strength of the Warden Major. But maybe there's a reason. Hopefully it's not because you don't have a keybind for it. That was my thought. Maybe he doesn't want to have an active essence. If that's the case, I feel like you probably want to dump this one then, because the miner is. I've always liked the miner. It does do a fair amount of healing, but I think you'd get a lot more value, especially if you're actually. So he said he's running Red Thirst, even though it says Purgatory. It says he's running Red Thirst, so you could run this and then maybe Vision, Miner, and Red Thirst. Those 2 go really well together. So, but yeah, one way or the other, I'm pretty sure that using both of these, not a great choice. The miners, like, would you use Touch of the Everlasting Miner, or are you literally only using it for the major? Because for me, I feel like the major is terrible. Like, I don't know. So that's my thought. So let's look at the actual run now. Okay, so this is Freehold 18, and it's this current week that's ending as I'm making the video. But so already, this was like, I hope that you agree that this was a very bad start to this dungeon. I mean, this is a big mistake, and you probably don't necessarily realize why at face value. First thing, it's going to be a little hard for me to be sure what I'm saying here because everything's not in English. But first things first, you gripped the wrong mob. I mean, that's actually a really big mistake, because the closer all the mobs are, the faster they die, right? So you want to grip the middle one. 99% sure. I would know if I could see the name of it, but the one of them's the caster. The other 2 are not. So you want to always grip the caster. I make this mistake all the time too, but yeah, there you go. So that was just sat there shooting. So the other thing is as stupid as this sounds, you really want to pull all of this here. If you're going to not pull this pack, then don't bother. I wouldn't even do this. This is only a good idea because it's so high volume and condensed. Like, I feel like that's the main reason. They're so close together that they all die at the same, like, you know what I mean? There's no like, oh, we got to go there, 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 there. So if you're not pulling this pack, I don't even do this. This is a waste of time. And again, the CD order, I would say, is maybe suspect, especially on a pack like this. You really want to use Rune Weapon on the pull, because first of all, it's going to help you with threat. This is a big problem. You're going to see threat's a bit squirrely. It feels like I look a little bit like you're panicking. I feel like you made the wrong decision with the grip. You're not in range to hit that mob while it's shooting random people. We'll see as it progresses, but. Yeah, there you go. So now you're getting threat establishing with the taunt, but now you've lost threat on something else. I mean, it's hard to tell what mobs are what because I don't understand what I'm reading, but either way, as we see, yeah. So this is the main case to take whatever it's called, Warden Major, right? This is the main reason to take this, and this pull is like the prototype of why. Honestly, this is the prototype of why you take Warden Major, because it's such a big pack and it has such high value that you get it all together, gore fiends it, and just go nuts. Get the extra threat from the major, and you're done. Like that's it. You don't have to worry about anything. So, yeah. So you actually don't use Dancing Rune Weapon here. I mean, that is a ridiculous error. It's such, I mean, even with only the 2 mobs, it's such a big pack, and it would set you up so much better if you started with Rune Weapon. Also, not, from what I could tell, that looks like a 3 to me, right? Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, so assuming based on the weak ores, you're maintaining Bone Shield relatively poorly as well. But now, so I do the opposite, frankly, and I'm not great at it. So this sounds like stupid to say this, but I would definitely try to stay, like for me, I would rather refresh a 10 stack of Bone Shield than let it get below 5. That's the way I play it. It's not the best way to play it. Okay, I'm not the best at it either, but it's like it's going to be a big problem with survival if you're not able to get extra death strikes off because you're not getting ossuary. I assume you have ossuary, right? I know it's impossible to tell, but yeah, I assume he has ossuary. Anyway, so yeah, that's on this first pack. Major errors made. You gripped the wrong mob, so that's a huge DPS loss. First of all, also a survival loss. Number one, you didn't. After that, the biggest mistake you made personally is not using Dancing Rune Weapon on the pull. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest pulls you're going to make in the whole dungeon, even without the extra pack. And you didn't use your strongest CD. So if you're having trouble surviving, that's going to be the reason why. And then number two, you also didn't use Icebound at all. So again, if you're having trouble surviving, that's what you want to do. And then kind of the next thing is that seemingly poor uptime on the ossuary split. So now we're gonna pull this pack. Okay, listen, if you're having trouble timing keys, this is why. This is a really, really suboptimal. I mean, I'm telling you, if you're not gonna do this all together, don't do it. It's not bad. It's not a problem. People act like you absolutely have to pull this pack. You do not. I promise you. I've upgraded hard keys without doing this pack. It's a really, really, really good joke. Or what? It's a really, really, really good idea on teaming weeks, though, because you do need the extra count. Later in the dungeon, I don't feel like there's a lot of good places to skip stuff, so we do end up wasting time. But yeah, if you're not going to pull all of that, and you're not going to make sure you have thread on it and crush it, I wouldn't even think about doing that. That's just hurting you. So anyway, so the slime, again, still no rune weapon. Going a long time without that. I don't see AMS anywhere either. I see it. Maybe you've used it now. Well, did you use it for any benefit, though? It's hard to tell because it doesn't look like you're getting hit by one of the things, but I think it was over. Anyway, it doesn't matter. AMS on this dungeon is not going to get a lot of value, so even a poor usage is probably better than a non-usage, like when we watch Sizing, we'll do it. But anyway, yeah, so I would definitely not want to do this either. Just one thing I do want to bring up before I forget, though, before the time has passed on it, you really zoomed into your character. Do you feel that way? Does anybody feel that way? Do others feel that way? I feel like your character's camera angle is really bad. I'm able to see so much more behind my character just from a natural angle without even having to turn it. I think this is a big problem. I don't know if you feel like you have problems with this or what your thought process is on this, but if you're kiting and your character is so close to your camera like this, how do you know where you're kiting? I do think one thing I do really well, I wouldn't say I do anything exceptionally well, but I would say I do one thing really well, and that's camera movement. I feel like I've done really well in the past with camera movement. So, but yeah, again, no rune weapon. And again, rune weapon is also a really good offensive CD, especially with the essence. They work really well together. So there we go. We use it here. But so I make this mistake all the time when I do this dungeon. Opening with rune weapon on this pack is a big mistake. It used to make a bigger mistake with Bone Storm. By the way, he just got tossed into a volcano there. That's funny. But yeah, I used to make the mistake with Bone Storm too. But opening with rune weapon, you're going to get tossed out of range of the mob during the rune weapon. So if you can avoid it, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Other than that, if you don't want to, you have to open it first global so you can get as much time with rune weapon uptime as possible. But the thing is about this week, trash is so friggin' easy. I do feel like I don't know what the key is gonna look like, but I do feel like that maybe the lack of aggression is probably like most weeks I would say pull as you're confident, but this has got to be the easiest trash week in the game. So it is a bit I'm not encouraged, let's put it that way. Anyway, so here's the first boss. It's fortified, or it's teaming this week, so you really got to be careful. That pull there is suspect. Why would you? I'm not sure where you're going with the boss. Especially, man, I don't know how you play with the camera this close to your character. This is insane. This is like a challenge run right now. But anyway, yeah, you definitely don't want to let the boss run that far. There's no reason for that. That's just missing globals, right? Like that's a global that you missed. You also wasted a rune to pull the mob. You didn't need to do that. You could have just taunted if you really did want to aggro it over here. But I would just get up there and start meleeing them and start building runic power as fast as humanly possible. Plus, there's just no reason to pull them. Like what I do is as the boss is approaching, drop D&D. We've called it Global Zero for a long time. It's basically just a free global. Like by the time the mob gets in it, it's just like, oh boy. By the time the mob gets in the D&D, the rune is recharging, and I would definitely recommend doing that. It doesn't really help that much, but you get a little bit of runic power, a little bit of free damage out from a global that literally did not impact combat. So already the group itself is really letting you down on this. If you're going to do this properly, like on a higher key, you're going to need to learn, you're going to need to look into tanking it in a certain spot. Tanking him in the middle here is really bad because I think that actually happened. You see, when you're moving it this much in the middle, the tank or the range are not able to get max range properly. Like when you're keeping it in, yeah. See, the druid got hit. You see this? The druid got hit. So that's a terrible error, and it's kind of on you, honestly. You want to keep it at the far end of one of these segments of the room and try to keep it there so you don't keep moving. You moved way too far from the poop on the ground or whatever. That's not needed at all. And yeah, moving again because of corruption circle. So kind of backpedaling into another problematic area. So this room is getting to be a mess now. Really a big problem. The less movement you do on this fight, the better, because even if ranged are properly max ranged, it's really hard for the melee to not be getting hit by them. But no offense, 18 doesn't really matter. Everybody should be able to do it properly, but like once you start getting into higher keys on Tyrannical, this boss will one-shot you. Like literally, if you don't have like Paladin does help a lot because the Devo reduction, the minor amount of reduction does make up a difference, but yeah, you can't tank him this way in a 20. You're going to get your group killed. People are going to freak out. So I don't necessarily have a good solution to this, but yeah. Oh, and there you go. You get hit. So this is all about camera movement here. And I feel like if you had your camera position better and used your camera better, we'd be in much better position. So like, some basics, changing Azerite, getting higher uptime on CDs, different Azerite, different essences, different corruptions, changing your camera's angle and positioning and getting used to moving it more. These things would immediately improve your play. But realistically, they shouldn't be the reason that you fail to upgrade this. So let's watch. I don't know, how much you're caring about the key and how much you're caring about yourself in the key. I'll try to give a balanced approach. I'd reached out, but he was slow to respond. So typically I'd ask people like, what do you really want me to look at while we're watching this? So this is just a general overview, but yeah. So this is a good option. I like cutting this guy a little bit. Again, it feels like the camera is just static. Like you're not interested in moving the camera at all. And unfortunately, as a tank, I think you really do need to get better at that because I don't know, it's not that big of a deal, but it does feel like it's probably really hard to see at times based on this. But really good Twilight proc, 1 million DPS. That's rank 3 Twilight for you. So that helps. A lot of people subscribe to the notion that the best way to survive is just go balls to the wall offense. But the problem with Twilight is it's just so inconsistent. Now that's a big mistake there. That might get you killed. Luckily, Lay on Hands comes in, I think. Or maybe it was just a big Death Knight, but Death Strike. But there you go. So you've lost Bone Shield stacks. The Cardinal Sin, right? I do it all the time too. Like I said, I'm far from perfect. But that is the Cardinal Sin. You basically never go above 5 Bone Shield stacks here. Is there is there any reason for that? You're just not monitoring it well? Like you lose Bone Shield just just naturally. Like you don't even try to refresh it. So that's a big issue. Are we aware of what ossuary does? I mean, it's definitely a big deal if you're doing certain types of pulls, but I guess it's not the end of the world. But yeah, losing stacks, cardinal sin. This is if this is happening regularly, this will be why you're dying. You really want to go into a big pack with high amount of bone shield, so you want to kind of go into it before the difficulty even starts safe. You know what I mean? And then here again, like I would just you're standing in this, you could easily move out of this, especially with the stuff. So it's just like a kind of a small amount of problems that kind of add up to kind of a bigger amount of problems over time here. So those are things that so he actually said that like he's recording his videos to get better, to look and get better. So hopefully you see this too, right? I mean, look at how often you're losing bone shield stacks. I mean, again, it's not really, you're not really taking damage, but like I feel like this is a mentality that you want to be in. You don't want to be like pulling a pack of 5 mobs, even if 4 of them are not difficult. Like for me, I always like if I could have 100% uptime on bone shield throughout the whole dungeon, not just when we're in combat, that's how I would play it. I never want to start a pack without bone shield because then that's extra globals that you have to spend, that you can't spend on death strike. So so there's 7. We're finally over it. But again, okay, so what's next? Obelisk. So let's see. This would be a good time for Rune Weapon. Are we gonna use it? Vamp Blood, Rune Weapon, AMS. High value in here. So let's see how it plays out. Still have not used Rune Weapon, but you did use Vamp Blood. I would, again, really want to get Vamp Blood going as fast as possible. Or, Dancing Rune Weapon as much as possible. That is such a big... Yeah, I can see that Red Thirst is definitely taken as you have some reduction on Vamp Blood there. But anyway, Dancing Rune Weapon is like... I mean, it's such a big DPS increase too, right? Why not use it? When you got 5 targets like this and you want to splatter them with AoE, it's just the best. This is why I love Dancing Rune Weapon, because it's such a versatile CD. It's such a strong defensive CD, and it's also a very strong offensive CD. So, but yeah, in terms of the key, nothing really wrong here at this point. So, skip ahead a bit here. This Obelisk doesn't need to go anywhere, so I wouldn't say to change anything. One thing I will say, though, is on teaming, I would definitely come and swoop this up before the dog happens. What I've been doing is I've been getting on teaming, I've been getting people to do the dog as we pull this pack. And usually it takes so long that you can kill the trash. It's very risky though, because if it doesn't take that long, the mobs reset and re-aggro. So then you have 3 mobs at full health after you've potentially wheeled them down. So this is a lot of count right here that you're passing up. And I don't want to talk too much about count on Freehold because it is teaming. But I would definitely think about that in the future when it's teaming Freehold again. But in reality, it doesn't matter that much. Wait, what the hell was that you just cast? Was that Thunderclap or something? Or what's the name of it? I don't know. The Tauren racial. Unfortunately, no offense or anything, but it's like hard to do a proper critique on this because I can't tell what I'm looking at a lot of the times. But that's not your fault, of course. But yeah, and then again, like, so this pack, really low danger. I mean, you're not even really taking damage. You say you're worried about survival, but like your health doesn't go below 100% on most of these pulls. So. And then here's another really good time to combine here, get multiple packs. On this week, like I said, whatever. If you don't feel confident on like a fortified teaming week or something, do what you gotta do. But this is a joke week. This is a week that if you're gonna crush keys, you have to crush the trash. So very timid pulls. Like I said, any other week of the year, do what you got to do. But this week, it's like, wow, what a free trash week. And you're kind of just squandering so much time here. And again, no rune weapon, losing bone shield stacks. So now you're going into this pull. But yeah, I would definitely, what I like to do is kind of place, here, I'm going to show you. Let's see. Right here, you see, I'm going to pause it. See right here? I drop D&D here, stand right against this tree, and Gorfiends gets... You have to kind of aggro them first, and then they'll funnel into that side, and then you Gorfiends them all together. And that with Rune Weapon, you're gonna crush it, especially with extra Twilight. You might do top damage on that pack. So, and again, it's so little danger this week. So, but so like here's a major issue, right? Is there a bigger issue than what's going on right now? If you're having survival issues, do you realize that you're spending like 5-10 globals without reapplying Bone Shield? It's just off. Is that like a visual, like you're having trouble seeing the weak ore, or like for me, Bone Shield might be the most important part of the class. Like that's just you're taking a lot more damage. You're just taking more damage. You know what I mean? And it's just a single button to press. So I press it too often. I refresh Bone Shield too often, but it seems like you are having a lot of trouble keeping up, or not even trying to keep above 5 stacks, not trying to stay in the ossuary range here. So this is a big issue for sure. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the best DK player out there, but like to me, it's the complete opposite of what I do. So it strikes me as a very big issue. Especially look at this. Yeah, going pack to pack. You're chain pulling and you just are not putting up Bone Shield. What are you doing? Holy shit. I mean, if you're having any type of survival issues, this is the number one reason why. That is a major issue. It's just crazy to see, like, spending dozens of globals and not using Mirror Rend. But anyway, still no problem with the actual key, the route. Wait, hold on a second. Yes, there is. What are we doing right now? When did Lust come up? Wait, did we not Lust on the first? Maybe I can't tell. I'm trying to see where your debuffs are. I don't see any debuffs. We not Lust on the first boss? Wait, what? I don't know. Am I missing the debuff somewhere? I expect them to be right here, but what? We didn't Lust on the first boss. Nobody lusted? I mean, you don't have a Lust in your group. Listen, this is why I always run with the Lust, because I'm so sick of dealing with it. But guys, I mean, hold on a second. If you're having trouble upgrading 18s and you're not lusting on tyrannical bosses, or not lusting, maybe I might be missing something. I don't see where the debuff would be, though. Am I missing it? I might be. There's some 17-minute buff. I don't know what that would be. I don't know. You tell me, man, if I'm missing it and let me know. But the main reason I brought it up, though, is because you really want to time Lust well here. Actually, it doesn't matter as much anymore, but like pulling extra trash when Lust is up is bad for. I don't think you are pugging. But if you were pugging, this would be a very bad idea. Wait, what are we doing now? We're pulling even more trash. It's a very bad idea because once people see Lust is up, they start changing the way they're using CDs. It's kind of like a mental issue. You know what I mean? People are going to get a little confused. And they're not sure what you're doing, pulling this much trash with Lust off CD. So if you're not pugging, then I guess it doesn't matter because you're communicating with each other. Also can't tell that because it's not in English, unfortunately. But yeah. So I would definitely be going boss right now. 100%. But it doesn't matter as much now that people are not. It used to matter a lot more because people used to do shark bait. Or what's the name of the boss? I don't know. Third boss, whatever the third boss is called, the circle of booty or whatever. That used to be a very important lust target. And if you didn't lust like as soon as you can on Council of Captains, it wouldn't time out well. I don't think that matters anymore now that people aren't going that way anymore. But yeah, so you see these yellows here, like pulling these yellows alone. I mean, this is a huge time waste, right? Just a gigantic waste of time. You really want to get. What I like to do is in that pack earlier in the room, I would just drop D&D over there, kind of just loft a little 60-degree D&D over there. You know what I mean? Just hit a little lob wedge over there with the shift, the D&D, and then it's gonna pull, and you're gonna be good. So a lot of weird camera stuff. I would think on that. I wouldn't say change anything, but I would think on that. What are you looking to gain out of having your camera this close and not manipulating it all? Because really, unfortunately, we talked with this with Cop a lot, but like, look, it's creating really odd angles for your camera. Like, I feel like if you're not gonna move the camera with the mouse, you're gonna have to move your character, and you don't want to do that. Anyway, barrels on the Paladin. I would definitely want to get some damage in on that. If it was me, I would kind of kite them over there. But yeah, realistically, I mean, did we not have Bloodlust up again? I don't see it, right? I don't see the Bloodlust icon. He has the potion up. I see the potion buff. Oh, there it is. That's it right there, right? This mallet looking thing? I'm really confused. So unfortunately, I don't see debuffs anywhere. Why don't I see debuffs? That mallet is the Bloodlust icon, isn't it? Well, I don't know. But if I'm not seeing it, I hope that you are. Because if you don't know exactly when Bloodlust comes up, that's a huge issue. That's not optional. You need to know exactly when Bloodlust is coming up. But yeah. Group's doing really poorly too with that mechanic. That mechanic does a lot of damage and people never move out of it. I feel like in lower keys people make that mistake a lot. Now one big thing here is, oh, you're getting slattered by that thing. Oh my god, you guys took so much damage from that. One big thing is I like to pre-AMS. Basically, there's a couple slots she could jump to. Okay, there's only a few slots. I think there's like 4 or something. And you should be able to tell out of the gate, am I going to get hit by this? It's based on how close she is, right? If you're really close to her, you will not be able to get behind her before she shoots the first time. And if you're really far away from her, you might be able to go the opposite direction and still reach her. So for me, if she jumps in a problematic area, I always pre-AMS because it's pure fire damage. It does a lot of damage too, and it's a big amount of damage that you really don't want to have to death strike up afterwards. So, like as soon as she jumps there, that is prime real estate for AMS for me. I am getting hit by that 100% of the time. It's too close to dodge, and I'm not close enough to get behind her before she moves. So unless she gets like, especially with the pattern, right? Because like you're right in the range that she's gonna go from one side to the other, right? So it's like one way or the other, you're getting hit there, and you do get hit, as you see. One hit here, boom. So you've been hit, and you AMS is not on CD, and then you AMS the seismical. You pull in the seismical. The trick shot that seismical had in the back of his bag, dude. The wasted AMS, because you're not taking any other magic damage. That is literally a wasted AMS. And as you see, you're at 53% health with a giant shield, probably up to closer to 95% health. That means you would have been at 95% health if you used it well. So those are small things to think about. But yet again, you got a mob chasing you, hitting you in the back, and you don't have bone shield up. So unfortunately, the paladin, he's morto. That's what that says. And that dude, that means he died. So yeah, you're gonna have to battle res him. Another big issue right now is blood decay. Having to use runic power on resing people can actually be the cause of wipes, and I've had it happen before. So, but yeah. So now he's going to do the barrel smash again, and it looks like, yep, you're going to get hit by that. So you res these 2 dudes. They got hit. One guy got hit by the barrel smash as soon as he resed, I believe. The other guy just didn't move out of it. I mean, this is really poor mechanics. Like, this has nothing to do with blood decay. This is terrible mechanics. First of all, besides the problems that you have with blood decay, like you don't have vamp blood, you're not using CDs well at all. Bone shield, all that. This is a terrible set of mechanics. Like, people are just really not trying on this fight. So are these guys your friends? It looks like they are, right? I think you said that. So you're going to have to talk to them, man. I mean, this is a pathetic show of mechanics. Like, when this guy does that barrel smash, you got to get the hell out of there. Because, my God, it does way too much damage. And even on an 18. I mean, look, it's killing people even on an 18. And then you're getting knocked away, so now you're not in range to death strike, and you're still in a bone shield up, and it's a big error here. You really got to pay more attention to this guy. He is really dangerous. And again, now you're at 30% health, no bone shield, but at least he used vamp blood. At least he did something right there. But I can't. I mean, this is hard to watch, honestly. Put bone shield up. There you go. You did it. Okay, good. I feel like we are polar opposites in this way. Oh, you're gonna get smacked again by this, aren't you? No, you were far enough away that you were able to get by it. We are polar opposites on this. It's crazy. I've never seen someone so lackadaisical with bone shield stacks. And a lot of people probably would say the opposite about me. I've never seen somebody so overstrung on bone shield stack. Like I said, I would literally refresh 10 stack if I knew that this next pack coming up was going to be dangerous, because I just don't want to risk it. And it's a bad habit, not a good habit at all. Would not recommend anybody do this, but certainly you're missing on a lot of theoretical output here. But, you know, kind of the other big thing that I didn't necessarily want to bring up in this because it's only an 18. But yeah, I learned this recently too. Like, I used to never do this. But if you're going to dedicate to full verse, you got to stop using Death Strikes for pure offense. That's the number one mistake I was making. And with the haste focus that I used to run, I didn't feel like it was actually a mistake. It was just bad timings on the issues. But now that you have potentially way less haste and you're going full verse, you have to time, like, the Death Strike timing is the way that you would potentially solo difficult PvE. Okay, so and again, you're getting hit by that barrel smash. There's just no reason to take that damage. It's a lot of, it's more damage than you think it is. But yeah, so let that bar fill up, man. You want to see that bar at 100 a good amount of the run. I don't want to say anything more than that because, again, I'm not the most qualified person to make these comments, but yeah, you want to see that bar a lot higher than this because you want to have your pick and choosings on when Death Strike's going. You know what I mean? You don't want to be waiting, thinking like, oh my god, I don't have a Death Strike when I'm at 30% health with no bone shield up. You're gonna die. So that's kind of like, I didn't want to really bring that up because it's kind of like, I feel like in an 18, you can be kind of fast and loose with Death Strikes, and I don't agree with the people who say that you should always wait on them because it's your top single target damage, right? Like, you want to be using it well. But yeah, if you're having trouble with survival, going into packs with 100 runic power is not a problem. That is not an issue. That would be better. Going into packs with 10 bone shield and 100 runic power, you will not have survival issues on the pull. That is the number one way that you solve it. Okay, so let's see. And we're going to pull small again. Again, another great place to combine here. Now, I've actually been combining with this pack. You see this over here? This is the pack I was combining because you can grip them up the stairs here or whatever, and they kind of come around. Unfortunately, they're so far away that it's kind of out. But yeah, I would just grab all of this together. It should not. If if it was me, I would definitely do it. Let's put it that way. So this is another way you can make up a lot of time here. I saw Gorfiends there. You interrupted the cast, which is a pretty big deal. It's hard for me to see interrupts because, again, I can't tell what I'm reading, what's being interrupted and what's not. But obviously, you want to interrupt that Frost Blast. It does the big cone. Does a lot of damage. As a DK, it's not really a problem. You could just AMS it. You'll be fine either way. But yeah, others are going to have trouble with it. So you're going to want to keep that. You want to keep that going for the rest of the group. So good mount there. That's a good play right there. I'm going to tell you what, that is a good play. I don't think a lot of people recognize how much speed you might gain as a tank, especially as a Blood DK. Not a Vengeance, obviously, but as a Blood DK who has limited mobility, getting on your mount out of combat is a really, really, really good way to stay ahead of the group's pacing. So I really like that. That's a really good idea there. Now, and then again, what are you doing? Just get these into the arena, right? I don't know why so many people do this. It's not just you. Everybody does this. They're fighting them up here. Go start the RP. This is like 2 minutes of RP. You got to get going here. Somebody's got to run down there and get that started. Unless maybe I missed it. Somebody's stealth over here. But one way or the other, absolutely zero reason to fight this stuff up here. Get this stuff down into the arena and start thinking about what's next. And then you got hit by that again. That's a dangerous mechanic. This this mob itself, it's got a bigger radius than it looks like it does. I get hit by it all the time. It's crushing on a high fortified. I'm telling you, you're going to get one shot by that, or you'll be so low that you won't recover. But yeah, just get the hell off this ledge, man. Get down in the arena. I can't tell. We'll see in a second here. But yeah, you just definitely, this is a big mistake. So these are a lot of, yeah, the pig's out. Okay. But yeah, like, you could have literally done this, or this could have been done. You could have been fighting that trash and people could have been doing this. You still got to do it 4 more times. See, this is really slow. This is really, really slow. This is a good minute long. You wasted a minute there at least, if not more. So this is a big problem. Now the patented Twilight on the pull. Always good. And again, grip. What are we doing? Why is that mob just back there? Big mistake here. You want to get all of these mobs together. This is a huge mistake, man. You do not, yeah, you grip the melee mob. Huge mistake. You got to learn what is and isn't the target for grip. Because these mobs this is a joke. I mean, no offense, man, but this is really bad. You got 2 melee and you got the mobs 20 yards apart or more. Really big mistake. These small things add up, man. I'm telling you, they really do. And Blood DK dominates this category. This is the category that Blood DK should be number one. I don't give a hell about. I don't care about survival. I don't care about offense. I don't care about nothing else. This is utility within progression. You don't realize how important Death Grip and Gore Fiends and Ranged Interrupt can be until you realize that those 2 mobs being separated from the other 2 mobs is a massive DPS loss for especially a class like a Demon Hunter. Huge DPS loss. So I would definitely think about that. And, at this point, I would probably start thinking about pulling more with this turtle. And again, this is such an easy week trash-wise. It's definitely fine. I would never do this on a fortified, never even think about doing it most weeks regardless. But this is a fine week to do it, man. You could have gotten all those yellows up there. You can't see them because your character is about 1 foot away from the camera. But there's yellows. I promise you, there's green pastures up there with rife count, and you're at 84%. So you really got to start thinking about how to elevate the pace of this dungeon. This is the number one thing I say as a tank. The number one thing that is your job. People talk about threat, people talk about survival, people talk about leading the group. None of that matters. The pace of the dungeon. This is the number one job of the tank. If you are not elevating the pace of the dungeon, you are slowing the group down, and you cannot afford to slow the group down. But anyway, it's another weird camera thing there. And again, I think you just did it twice too. Death's Caress, you don't ever want to pull with that. Unless you have to. Unless you need to pull 3 different things. Like you would taunt one, grip the other, then you'd have to Death's Caress the third. Don't ever use 2 runes on Death's Caress. It's just pointless. It does no damage, first of all. And it's just 2 runes that you're not going to have for the actual pack. I mean, it gives you a little bit of runic power, but it's just not a valuable play. That's a dead global there, 100%. So you could just ran right up to him. You didn't even have to do that. And then, again, you are way under count here. I don't know what you're doing. You need those yellows ASAP. You needed those a year ago. You might want to look at that hippo and see if you can kill him too, man. You are way under count right now. Timer is ticking. This is a very, 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 very slow. This is slow, man. This is a big problem. But let's see how this dude goes, whatever his name is. Throthak? I never know how to say it. Not much you can do as a Blood DK. And he does hit relatively hard, so. Good thing about Red Thirst, though, is you want to have Vamp Blood going all the time. Red Thirst is a better talent than people think it is right now, because if you got a lot of Twilight, yeah, see? Vamp Blood. I would definitely throw that out, man. You got Twilights roaming around, and they're not getting Vamp Blooded, so really no reason not to. You got all your CDs. Oh my god, are you kidding me? That dude just died to freaking spin or what? Anyway, yeah, no reason not to. You got all your CDs up, full. This is not going to be challenging at all. So definitely want to start using Vamp Blood more. I would say, again, if you take Vision Miner, Vamp Blood, whatever, the Red Thirst talent, these 2 things together, you're going to have really short Vamp Bloods times, and it's going to it will help your offense too. People don't understand that it will help your offense. You know what the main thing is going to help, though? It's going to help the healer. Keeping the healer comfortable with your health pool is a very big thing when you're pugging or doing content that you're not all sure you're going to succeed on. I guess, yeah, this looks like a full guild group or something. So, I'm sure that the healer or whatever. He is, if he's not at all 100% confident playing with you, then that is a really good way to help him stay confident. Those people, you hear it all the time in stream. It's funny. People say, oh, I hate healing a Blood DK because of how spiky the health is. That's not actually a problem. Realistically, the health spiking is a good thing because it allows the class to play to its strengths. But if the healer doesn't know it's a good thing, then he's going to be wasting mana, panicking, using what's the name of it? Devo, sack. He's going to be placing his sack on you at the wrong times. He's going to be getting killed by sharks. These are mistakes that I would try to avoid making in a place where you're not sure you're going to succeed. Let's put it that way. So, anyway, I think you're getting hit by taking a lot of damage here. One thing I will say, yeah, the shark is right on top of you, dude. AMS does work for the shark. I don't know if you know that. It's nature damage. I'll tell you what, you really want to get that weak ore that I use to show what kind of damage you're taking. I feel like it's ridiculously valuable, like maybe the most important weak ore that a tank could use as Blood DK anyway. Probably as like Brewmaster, it's irrelevant, but you really do want to know exactly what type of damage you're taking, and it also shows you how much damage you're taking. But the main thing is, if it doesn't show you, if you don't know if you're taking magic 100%, you can't predict when to use these CDs well. So as Blood DK, like we can dominate magic, but you have to have the info for it, you know? You need to know that like, oh, if this magic is pure, we're not going to take any physical, then rune weapon's useless, right? You need to know that. Or if you need to know like, oh, big AMS here coming up, let's make sure we do it for the future. Those are the things that I would think about learning. You know what I was also maybe interested in learning is how to do 24k DPS as a demon hunter on this fight. What, was this a joke? What's going on here? What? Is this overall? If it was overall, we'd be even worse off. What the hell's going on here? Why is this guy doing 24k DPS? It's not overall. What the hell's going on here? Have I been missing this the whole dungeon? Are you like carrying this dude or something? He's doing all right on AoE. Let's do the first boss real quick. What? That's with lust, right? Did we lust there? Still can't tell. I don't see a hammer mallet looking thing. Hey, you might want to talk to your friend because he's holding you back. Anyway, that's fine. Let's keep moving. No big deal. It's not my place to judge DPS. That's for damn sure. But anyway, let's look at this because this is a big time in the dungeon here. Again, you're definitely not making this timer, unfortunately. You're way short. I mean, come on. Are we joking right now? You're at 92% count. Do you know that? Where are you going? You got to get the count. I mean, I guess some people do try to get the count across the bridge, but I mean, you need like 7% count or something at this point with the obelisks. Let's see how it unfolds. One way or the other, 7 minutes not going to work out, but I like this here. Taunt and just speed pot. Looks like that's what you did. Yeah. You could also AMS here, so you won't get slowed. It's a decent option, but are we speed pot? I thought it was. I'd like to do it right out of the gate because if you could not take those initial melees, it allows everybody to get a lot farther, safer, like without mistakes. But threat is an issue, of course, because people are going to be like, "Oh, I stab." The Demon Hunter is literally doing 3k DPS on it, so you don't have to worry about that at least. But, yeah. Another cool thing about doing this is you could snap it. Like, there's not. I guess there's probably snap spots up here. Not a slam dunk snap spot, but this is one of the biggest things right now. I feel like dealing with the Obelisk well is a big deal, and the fact that you could literally just snap it all over the fucking planet. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? That really speeds the key up. You'd be surprised how much that speeds the key up, honestly. So let's see. Oh, yep, snapped it by accident there. What I like to do for this guy is I like to have one CD for everything. Either have a ton. Oh, you're gonna get hit. No, you get out. Anyway, either have like a big runic power bar coming, or just have one CD for everyone if you can. So looks like you're not really having problems with it, but you are making the healer. Oh, my God, you're having the. Okay, yeah. So you want to be preemptive on this. This is no surprise. We know exactly how much damage we're going to take from this unless we parry. So to be kind of off guard like that, that's partially what I talked about. Poor bone shield, poor runic power. You want to have more runic power ready for that. You basically want that. That is the quintessence of when I should stack runic power, like when I should fill up the bar, because the mob literally does no damage. He only hits you hard, right? There's no in between. So just get a full bar runic power and just sit there and wait. Every auto, death strike. Every auto, blood boiled, death strike. Blood boiled, death strike. And you'll be topping the charts on that mob. So anyway, yeah, I mean, still at 93%. So I don't know. Let me know. Is this intentional? Did you want to be undercount here? I feel like a pretty big blunder considering how Freehold's count is meant to look like, especially considering you pulled the early packs. So, yeah, not much left to say realistically. You didn't use Rune Weapon. I provided you lust. I still can't tell. Do we not lust again? I don't... Okay, well, I hope this is some kind of outlier run. To be fair, I did ask you to give me a representative key. If this is a normal key, you're not lusting on bosses. I mean, I guess you did lust. I saw a hammer. Okay, but either way, you didn't lust. You didn't use rune weapon during lust. Like, these are big swings of damage that you're missing. Even with 3 twilights, your damage is relatively low. Paladin is really doing really well. I would definitely want to see you at that number. 50k with 3 twilights on. I mean, if you're not getting that, then you probably want to take it off and just go more defense, because we'll see what the overall looks like, I guess. But this is really a free fight, right? Like, this is a fight where every decision you make should be towards offense, because he doesn't do anything. Ideally, you won't have that happen. Oh my god, how did it not reset? Wow, I've never seen that. He literally ran through the bricks. Whatever those stacked rocks are, he ran through those. That's a bizarre one. Now, one other thing I did want to bring up, I'm not going to sit here and judge your UI, because a lot of people look at my UI and judge it, and I know it can be frustrating at times, but I would not recommend having this right here. See these bars? What's this, big wigs or whatever? It's like a DBM style bar here, okay? What I do is off to the side, below the actual UI. It's important, but it's not so important that you want it covering the mob's health. You see what it's doing there? It's covering the health pool of the boss. Oh, see you later, Morto. Anyway, it's covering interrupts. It's covering threat. It's covering a lot more than you realize it is. So these are some changes I would definitely want to see made. Start thinking about different essences. Start potentially thinking about different corruptions. Again, I'm not one to talk, but this would help you, I think. If you're having trouble feeling comfortable playing Blood DK, try some different things. Just even if they're not what people recommend. I'm telling you, the most fun and the most comfortable I ever had playing Blood DK was with Ineffable Truth on. Stupid idea. People meme about it. They insult me all the time about even trying it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'll tell you what, I did have a lot of success with CD usage. CD usage as Blood DK, I feel like, is a lot bigger deal than people make it out. People were saying, like, literally, like, oh, there's no reason that you don't have a CD that's important enough. I mean, you got Interrupt, you got Death Grip, you got D&D, you got Blood Boil. These things are CDs. Maybe don't realize that. AMS too. It's another good one. Not just talking about Vamp Blood, even though that was the big reason to use it. So, not saying that you should use Ineffable Truth. I'm just saying try some new things out. Maybe don't be complacent. If you're having trouble playing the class and you're not sure why, just experiment. That's what I would recommend. But yeah, realistically, unfortunately, you kind of I'd have to say this. I think you let the group down a little bit with the route. Doesn't seem like you were ready to do this right. There was a lot of count that you could have gotten at certain times. Really slow the way you approach some of it. I mean, you're basically carrying a DPS, so that doesn't help. But like, kind of going back now and looking for another 4.5%. This isn't gonna go well. I can already tell. We're going to aggro that. Yeah, we're going to aggro that big pack. Okay, so, yeah, don't ever do this again. Promise me. Pinky promise. Don't ever do this again. This is a huge mistake. I think you're going to die here. I think multiple people are going to die here. Yep. There's 2 deaths. I think you go down like the Titanic. And nobody's interrupting the lightning damage, so. God damn, you almost upgrade this key too, despite all this. Wow, this is crazy. Maybe people do this, but this is just such a huge weight. I mean, you literally need to kill 1 mob there. So yeah, to pull 3 packs when you need to kill 1 mob. And I can tell you why this is not a good idea. It might look like a good idea because it's whatever. That doesn't matter if you kill them or not. They go away, right? That's like the way you think about it. It doesn't matter. But the reason is those mobs are not free mobs. They're dangerous mobs, okay? So to pull them, then it starts scattering the brains of this demon hunter doing 40k on single target. Like, you know what I mean? These guys, I mean, they need all the help they can get. You got to help them. You got to give them pulls that they feel confident in too, not just what you feel confident in. Sometimes I do neglect the group as a tank, but it's mostly because I'm pugging. If I wasn't pugging, I'm thinking a lot about what my group can do, and I could see right now that this group has some trouble. with that kind of stuff. So definitely, I don't know. It's a mistake that you kind of made early on, unfortunately, and maybe you didn't mean to make it. Maybe you did mean to make it. Maybe you wanted to come here. These packs aren't terrible. But wait, did you CC the one that kills itself? Anyway, yeah, that I can't tell because of the name, but I'm pretty sure you CC'd the one that kills itself. So don't do that. But anyway, long video. So let me know what you think. I had fun doing this. I think you can learn a lot. So if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, really kind of just down to the basics. All the stuff, everything about your character. I mean, relatively under geared too, I feel like, right? Where are we? I mean, I guess it's because you're trying to get verse on every piece. Maybe I've been pretty lucky, but I mean, we got a 460 ring on, right? Like, I know it's not that big of a difference, but just go get the 465. You know what I mean? And then, of course, like, surely, I guess if you're not rating, it's probably a big deal, but like, to have a lot of 465s on at this point, I feel like relatively undergeared. Another thing I noticed is this trinket is 417. What is that about? Does that actually make a difference? Why is mine's 430? Yours is 417. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it's a cloak rank, yeah, max rank. So that's it. Let me know what you think, man. If you have any more questions or anything like that, I'm happy to help. But hopefully this has helped you, and hopefully it's helped others. If others want to give their thoughts, I would love to hear them. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.